A lot of the peer delusion that has been spread about me is because they can get away with it. And when it comes to incorporating people like Kate Parkhouse, or Taya, or Louisa, the various other people who Wellesley College can get in touch with, it still amounts to the same thing. Getting away with spreading mongering peer delusions. For example, taking somebody who's deaf and disenfranchised and marginalized and trying to recover from serious trauma, saying we can't let that happen because this person has a super utility to a storytelling base is criminally insane. But so many people don't look at it that way that it has to be regarded from a different way as just some sort of um, sacrilegious albatross, the destruction of another person's rights in the name of human rights, civil rights. The delusion of my importance is cock and bull. I'm just Humphrey Bogart. The concerns of two people don't mount to hill beans in this world. People say, well, your sympathies, blah, 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 go down through the gravy train, through the great chain of being, through the brotherhood of man, through the interlocking fabric, through the intrinsically linked, through the queer gossip on, to the people who worship John Lennon as a spiritual antidote to the anti Lennon, the little boy who they molested. But it doesn't have anything to do with me. Steve Langer, one of the most maniacal perpetrators of the whole affair, handed me Master and Margarita by Mikhail Bulgakov and had me read the section where they were following a dude around writing scriptures. And he said, I saw that. They were writing that about me. It has nothing to do with me. I never said that stuff. And they even said constructing a persona in the work. Okay, it takes work. The Joe Biden is just beating a man to death over and over and over again, beating a little boy to death over and over again. Every time the cameras go away, he starts whacking him. That's what's going on. Now, the idea of my having some importance as a poet, I mean, maybe justified and earned because I do love my poetry. But the people who did this to me were people who had said after Auschwitz, no poetry. So they were going to snuff out me as a little boy to begin with. And where do you go from there? People think I sympathize with Russia's invasion. It's ridiculous. You think I want to see kids get killed? It's. I believe what the UN says. It should stop. It should be ceasefire. But I've also listened to Lavrov and his pokies. They make sense, and it's ridiculous to say that Bush and Powell should be exempt from that kind of thing. And they don't look in Don's basement, is what I think about Don best. There's a lot more going on here. Now, we won't get this pin-headed circus. We detected, it's an argument about whether pornography leads to rape or whether rape pornography can be too real. Here's what they did. They said absolute freedom of expression for everybody but queerbait. And they pot boiled in a neuroplasm. The best rock band's name for it was Quiet Riot. They pot boiled all of this stuff. And it's not, my mother started screaming when I tried to explain what Leslie Couch's behavior was. And she was screaming at me because I was violating decencies by describing Leslie Couch's behavior. Yet they had it all. Yeah, Ivan Ick the Terrible had it all codified with Johnny Lennon, the Chinny Chin Chin Tempest. Where they took it out on the Gabriel Suggs or the Leaky Chops got even with it. What they did was that they potboard Martin Edelman, don't stop, don't stop, you blew it, man, excellent. They parboiled, and then the lawyers were saying, "Oh, you wouldn't have been right." And I felt it would have been. I mean, it's ridiculous. It doesn't matter how close we came to nuptials. In my opinion, my restraint was called for because she was being coy, and that's all I needed to know. But they parboiled this in a circus of unimaginable brutality, humiliation after humiliation after humiliation. They even made it as though they even put on Zala at Pitt, so cover me with spit. They poison me in the mouth, and they do all of this stuff to degrade the persona, right? And I'm supposed to not detect that. Howard DeBrugio says, "Why did you go to Mount Desert Island instead of swallowing the lyre?" He says, "I don't believe that." Well, it's true. They were setting up an entrapment of neurological psychopathy coming from them impinging on the persona's experience. And then they put out bait. And I said, it's part of this testing curve. They released AIDS and they set this thing up. And they said, no, it's a response to you. They manufactured the response to you stuff. And I was investigating while they were pot boiling it, cooking it over the microwave with neuroplasm to get it to go off. And they were even advertising it online, just the way they advertise motoring the Kennedys. Oh, we got the tea kettle to go off. Woo! This is Michael Reagan's crowd. He's after his favorite scene, which is as unspeakable to adults as the Hustler magazine, the crack aggregates, the Corona craze. It's sick. And that magazine that picture is in got in trouble for contract killing. This is a snuff film syndicate. For God's sakes, they snuff film Seriously Kennedy, and you allow that weirdo instantly into office to ride high on the rationalizations of poisoning somebody. It's absurd. It's absurd theater. All of it is absurd theater. They didn't have a single thing of behavior. They were calling rapid eye movement. You don't think that's going to cause rapid eye movement before somebody even knows it's there? They said, rapid eye movement, what? They said the rapid eye movement of our implant means defiant trespass, and that means he twitched. He had an involuntary spasm that said, oh, I want some, while she was behaving in a very seductive way. And in fright, he backed off, you see, because he was afraid that he had a twitch. Paul detects the twitch of Hal. Paul Twitchell, letters to Gail. Paul detects the twitch of Hal. And there's no even real evidence that anything like that happened. I don't remember twitching. Leslie was the one who was always twitching. She had these spasms at night. I don't remember ever. Usually, this thing was dormant when I was making out. I mean, in fact, consistently and always, it was dormant when I was making out. That's what made me so hysterical when Rosa broke it off suddenly. I didn't even know why. It was because it started suffocating me. It started going into coma trauma. These people are psychopathic, and you let them use names like Wattenmaker. University of Pittsburgh, you can go to hell.